Hello my friends, this is the FX Hunter with Forex market preview for the following week, starting 17 September, and let's check with the charts what we can expect and what actually happens. So let's start with the dollar index as usually. So what is actually happening on the dollar index? We have this still weekly uptrend, and we are testing in this demand zone. This test is actually, it's a second test, and what happened here was this, because we have this zone created which removed this supply zone, so we have the new zone, and then we had quickly the test by this candle, which was like 3 weeks ago already. And then we have a second test. Every time when we have a second test of the demand zone, the market makers, they go deeper than the first test. So we went deeper, and we getting a big rejection, and we closing with this nice pin bar candle, which actually doesn't mean anything. I'm not trading the pin bars or some, let's say, candles formations, but I'm watching like a whole big picture. So on the daily chart, we have actually this daily trend line which was broken here, and what as well happened is that we have actually when this high was created, the market was dropping lower, then reacted in this zone on this trend line, move higher, which created lower high, and then moved lower again as well below this trend line where it created lower low. So we have a high, lower high, and lower low. So this is the conditions to draw the trend line, and as well another condition was met, that one demand zone was removed. So basically we are getting a new downtrend created on the dollar index, and as well we have this nice zone created here, because we have these two candles in a row, like strong candles, and I must draw this as the supply zone. So potentially we could expect the bounce from here and continuation lower. Of course I'm trading the dollar, and I'm still positive with the dollar that it could go higher. However, I must be objective, and if this happened, then we could get a reversal on the dollars. But I will definitely wait till this weekly demand zone will be absorbed. As well, on the 4 hours chart, what was happening here, maybe those who are in my channel, they know about this situation a little bit deeper. So we had actually, of course, there was a downtrend on the 4 hours chart. Then we have a break of this trend line, move higher, then again the trend line, you know, the new one, and in the end we have this downtrend line, and we have removed this demand zone by this new supply zone. But as this supply zone was removed and this trend line was broken, and we have one candle moved closed above whole body, above the trend line, and straight away removed this supply zone as well. So we have potentially on the 4 hours this new zone for the longs. However, we have this obstacle on the daily, this one. So it's big question what's gonna happen this week in this zone. This will be very, very important for the future, and I still expect a strong dollar, which is confirmed for me by the strong data, because we can see that the banks raised their longs last week, and they closed some shorts, which happened actually because the data are released. Actually they must provide the data every Tuesday, and it's released every Friday. So this data was happening here, where the banks was adding the longs, probably somewhere here on these lows, and they've been closing shorts, or probably somewhere on these tops. the longs they've been going up, and the shorts they've been closing shorts here and adding the longs. However, still going the lower. Why I think they went lower here? It's because they went to make a stop out, like a stop hunt for these lows, and then potentially we will see. I don't want to speak too much to the future because I don't have a crystal ball, so I'm expecting the long term to move up, but as I said, I must be objective and I must trade what I see on the chart. And for me and per my conditions, this is the downtrend forming on the dollar index. So let's see. Let's move to the next one, which is the gold. On the gold, we are in, I can repeat this again, so we are on the monthly in the consolidation because we had this trend line, and we didn't have removed this last supply zone which is above here. So basically we are consolidating, and as this supply zone, demand zone was removed, it created this new monthly supply zone. And we basically, as we are in the consolidation, that means that we can move from the supply to the demand. So I still expect, if we have strong dollar, this can drop lower. On the weekly chart, downtrend, and we are in this supply zone testing. And on the daily, we have a broken downtrend line, but as I said, for the trend change I need at least one zone removed, and this zone is still holding, was retested even twice, and now the gold is dropping. In my group we had amazing entry to the trade in here, because I was expecting all these shorters, all these people who've been shorting here, they put stop losses like they teaching in every stupid book just above the last swing high. So there was a lot of stop losses which was probably taken out, and now the market could go lower. So if the reversal should happen on the gold, because we can see this nice engulfing candle which could be supporting it. This is not the zone, but this is the imbalance. So I expect first these trend line and this zone to be tested before it could go higher. So I'm in the short for now. If I look to the data for the gold, we can see that we have reduced longs a little bit for last 2 weeks. So in this area we had reduced longs, and we can see that we have like still pretty aggressive shorts. So the banks, how the market was moving lower, they've been closing the longs probably on these tops. And then while it moved up after the reporting the data, they probably closed more longs here, or even they added more shorts, and now they're moving the market lower. So the data, we are still on the net, we are still in the negative numbers. So for me, I feel comfortable with the short, and I'm patient with my position. This is the Aussie. Aussie, I was speaking about the trend reversal in one video, and actually it's a bit happening. Aussie is getting stronger, but still not against the dollar. So what do we see here? We have this monthly, it's a little bit similar like a gold because they are a little bit correlated. So we have this monthly trend broken, and here is a nice monthly supply zone which was tested and is in control and pushing the market lower to this demand zone, where is actually the market sitting right now. On the weekly we have a downtrend, we have a nice supply zone created for a potential short, and here is still room to go lower. On the daily, of course, the downtrend as well. We have a downtrend because we have a low and lower low, and now we have this nice supply zone where we took a short as well, and I will be holding it patiently. What is not so much confirming this my trade is that the market makers, they actually in the last 2 weeks we can see that they raised their longs positions from the 24 to the 48, so they are like a double in last 2 weeks. So these two numbers, we can see that they are like a double. But as well, they've been adding the shorts as well. You can see that they have a massive short positions, so which was probably filled here, because these numbers, these 92k, it means that this happened from the last Tuesday. So this is the Tuesday 4th and this is the Tuesday 11th. So where they probably added these numbers, it was probably here. And what happened now is that market reversed here, and here was the rest of these orders was filled here. And I still believe in this continuation because it's all the downtrend, so I don't have no reason to go longs. And if we are looking to the net positions, we are not so aggressive as we've been before, but for me the technical is more important than these numbers, so still believe in the drop on this pair. Let's move to the next one. This is the euro. Euro is this monthly is still very nice. This is the monthly downtrend is broken. Then we have bullish impulse up into this monthly supply zone, which is in control now, and the pushing price lower. Now is market like in the pause, it's pausing, but we will see if we will get some retracement and then drop lower, or if it will continue lower down. So we go with the lower time frames. On the weekly we can see that we have a low, lower low, and the testing in this supply zone where we're getting these rejections. And on the daily, it's happening as well. We have nice retest of this supply zone, which is potentially could be used as for the shorts. We can see that the market actually was dropping, and here was one supply zone which was removed, but we don't have created a higher high here. So if this happened, that this market will now move higher and remove this supply zone, which will create a new demand zone here, and we will have a low. We will have here new high, like a higher high and higher low and higher high. Then I will must draw at a trend line like this. If this happens, it just needs to be like here, just a couple pips. So that means that we will have a trend change on the daily, and in that case I'm not taking, for me still the higher time frames is more important, but in that case I will not be taking the trades from the daily zones, but from the weekly zones, which still is here. So let's see what's gonna happen with this one. And if we look to the numbers, we can see that the market makers, they reduce their longs positions. Actually, if we look in the beginning, in the last month, they've been more aggressive than they are now. So there was reducing about the 20k of the long positions, and which is perfect because they are finally getting rid of the longs. And the shorts are not so aggressive as they've been, because you can see they've been 193k longs, and now they are just 150 shorts, sorry, and now they are just 150. So, but still, you can see when they've been 150, in these times, sorry, it's a too big one. When they've been 150, which was in the July, you can see what was happening with the market was still dropping a lot. So now is the problem that we have still some longs, and the net positions is last 2 weeks is growing. So we will see, but still for me it's still downtrend, and even this bullish move higher doesn't mean, it's still not technically the trend change for me. Maybe it could be forming slowly, but not yet for me. So I'm still bearish on the gold, on the pound, on the euro. I'm sorry. This is the pound. What's happening on the pound? We can see similar situation as on the euro. So we have this monthly downtrend line broken, bullish impulse, supply zone pushing price lower. Now the price is somehow like supported. I was thinking why, but look at this monthly trend line. So we can see that the price is still sliding on this monthly trend line and still is trying to you know, like somehow support it, and the price have a problems to break lower. So we can see this nice pin bar here, and nice pin bar, and then we have retested this pin bar, which is mostly happening when we have a pin bar. Then we can see the retest, but only what is happening on the weekly. So it's still downtrend because we have a lower low, a lower high, and now we are in this weekly zone. On the daily, what actually already happened here? So we had this downtrend, and then we had the bullish impulse which removed daily supply zone, then moved lower and moved higher again, and so it's I have to draw the trend line because I have a higher low and higher high. So that means it's a trend for me. But still, this weekly zone is much stronger. And if you look to the 4 hours chart on the pound, so what do we see here? We had this bullish impulse which already have all these 5 waves, and now we are in the zone, and the 4 hours trend line is already getting slowly broken, and we could have this ABC correction. So let's see what's gonna be happening here. If we check the data, let me put this back on the daily. So if we check the data here on the pound, we can see that the longs are slowly why this always happening? So we can see that the longs are slowly growing up. You can see, but the shorts are still growing up as well. But last 3 weeks, not so much. So this last 3 weeks, not so much. But the longs, longs are still being added. So it's a little bit supported already, and I will be waiting what's gonna happen around this zone. So it's gonna be very important this week, and we have some news for the pound this week. Maybe the banks could use it for that. Let's see what's gonna happen, but still they are pretty aggressive with the shorts, and the net positions are still negative, but it doesn't mean anything, because the banks, they still can move the price. You know, they can do hedging, and they could be moving the price pretty high, then they close just the hedge. So let's see. So the technical for me this week will be very important, what's gonna happen here and here. And yeah, this is it. I will not be making it complicated, so let's wait. So this is the kiwi. Kiwi is in the monthly downtrend, the weekly downtrend, daily downtrend. Now it's a little bit. Now it's sitting in this daily demand zone, and I think it would be maybe late to short it now. I would be interested to take a short if the price retrace here into weekly and daily zone. So because I think that the kiwi could be showing some strength as it already happened on the pound and the euro. I think the next pairs could follow. When I'm checking data for the kiwi, we can see that the banks actually raised the longs for these last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. The long positions are growing not so much, but yes, they are growing, and the shorts are still around, you know, these 40k. So they still holding the shorts, but they slowly hedging their positions. I think that it could mean that some reversal on the or maybe some profit taking, you know, on the shorts. So let's see if this trend could continue down or not. However, here is still room to move to down, and on the weekly as well, still a room. And let's see how this will be played. The next one is USD CAD, Canadian dollar. So what do we have here? We have this monthly downtrend, and we have this 3-month demand zone in the control, and I believe we are moving higher into the 3 months supply zone. However, this last couple months the chart doesn't show any big trend, and on the weekly we have this uptrend, and we have this demand zone which is still holding the price higher, and the price on the price is not able to close below this trend line. So this tells me that we still could move higher. On the daily chart we already had the downtrend, then I was trying to break higher, and now it's retesting, and we have nice demand zone here for the potential longs. And if I check the data, the bank's data, what do we see here? We can see that the longs actually being for the couple weeks, the longs actually being reduced, because look, we've been 73, 76, 79, and now we only 57, and the shorts basically they've been around 23, and now they are on around 30. So what does it could mean? If I look to the data, I still see that we are still more exposure on the long side than on the short side, but the technically we are still on the uptrend. This trend line, when it will be broken, it could means a nice move up. On the 4 hours there is a trend line like this, so there is already the trend broken up, and here's the zone on the 4 hours as well, and the weekly is up as well, so the potential trade up is definitely here. So we are just waiting. These numbers, it's not telling anything extra, it's still supporting the trend. However, it's not so aggressive as it was before, because we can see this consolidation now. What it could mean, because if we're looking to the other pairs, what it could mean, it could mean that we've been in something like a pause. You know, the market could move higher, then it's pausing, and then it could continue. Because if it would be like a trend change, it would be drawing something different. Because let's look for example somewhere. You know, you see this when you have a trend up, and then the market start to do how to explain, you know, you can see that in here you can see that like this moves higher, you know, where the banks are closing the positions. It's like a distribution before they drop it lower. But in here, in our case where we are now, you don't see this happening. We see that they still digging deeper lower, where they actually could be buying even more positions. This doesn't looks like a trend change, you know, because this looks different, and even this engulfing candle is supporting that. So let's back to the analysis. So monthly we had this downtrend line which being tested like once here almost, and here was tested once. Then we have the pin bar, problem to close below this engulfing supporting the price, and now we are breaking. So this could be just a beginning of the trend, you know, because we can see that we have this 3-month supply zone in the control. Let me show it like this. So we had this 3 months supply demand zone which was moving price higher, then price retraces, reloaded, and we moving higher. Just this is what mostly happening just below this level where the people are targeting. They see the trend, market makers, they reverse the price, and then they finish the move. It's mostly happening. I already saw this many times as well. What was this thing? You know, sometimes the price reacts somewhere where you don't know what was the thing, why it reacted here. But what is this? This is the 3 months. This is the 3 months trend line. So we can see this trend line still supporting the price. So here is the higher time frame forces is moving the price higher. So on this daily chart, we saw already the downtrend because we had removed this demand zone here, and we had a low, and when this downtrend was broken, we had new demand zone created, and bam, and market is moving higher. So this one is as well supporting that the dollar could be strong, but not others. And we must be always objective. And if we are looking to the data, we can see that market makers was pretty aggressive in here. Sorry, I must change this. So we can see that the market makers was pretty aggressive in here. Then they a little bit reduced their positions, and now they're starting to be aggressive as well. And in the shorts, we can see that they still closing the shorts even more. They added some shorts here, which was in this area to push the price lower, and these shorts are being closed again, and the market is moving higher. So yeah, let's see what's gonna happen. And yeah, this is already the crosses, and I will do the crosses in another special video. So overall, what is actually happening, what I think is happening, this is the Aussie franc. Did I speak about the Aussie franc? No, I didn't. So the Aussie franc as well. So we have this weekly broken downtrend line, and we have this supply zone, and where the market is right now is in this nice daily weekly demand zone where I will be looking for the longs, because what I think that the market could come to definitely to retest this zone. And what we see on the daily, this is the trend line. We can see that the trend line was broken, is retested now, and potentially the market could go higher. On the monthly time frame, the chart is a little bit mess. There is not anything clear, but what do we see? What do we see here is that we have actually this 3-month supply zone which was tested and is in the control, and the market was moving the sideways, and now I still think this could go all the way up. It of course will not take 1 or 2 months. This is for the long term, and it's difficult to hold the positions like this time, but I think this zone will be tested once more, and not just once more, because it was tested once, 2 times, and could be tested even more times. So let's see. This is for the franc, and the data for the franc. We could see that the banks a little bit reduced their positions, because if you remember, I was speaking that if we are around these 90% numbers, what do I expect is some profit taking. And we can see that because we had these positions around 51, 53, you know, and of course the banksters, the bank cartels, they reduced the positions because they took the profit. So if we look to the daily, we can see it here. So the banks as the positions was up here, they just took some profit, or just they maybe made it to drop the price lower before they take it higher again. Let's see. Okay, so this is everything from me. I hope this could be somehow good for your trading, and I want everyone invite to my channel where I'm sharing my analysis and some trading tips on the daily basis, which could be helpful for someone. And yeah, this is it. So have a nice rest of the Sunday, and bye bye, my friends.